Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am really overjoyed to have Shannon here today. I know lots of you have read her article. So, to give you a little bit of a background, Shannon is an incredible journalist and took on, can I call it an experiment?
Sure, definitely.
In about July, Shannon started my 12-week body reset program. And I'm pretty sure she's glad she did. So Shannon, give us a little bit of a background to you and your health story.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for having me. It was definitely a bit of a experiment and a challenge. I was really unsure how I would go. So a bit of a background, my lifestyle is crazy. I'm a journalist for the Otago Daily Times, based in Central Otago, but I live in Dunedin. So I split my time between Central and Dunedin, away from my family, working, 100 hours a fortnight plus. So it's a bit crazy, hours are erratic and stuff. And then I have some health challenges. So I have a history of endometriosis, fibroids, all of that fun stuff, migraines, and just feeling like an old lady. Lots of injuries and stuff like that. So every time I get on a roll and start going to the gym and stuff, I, put out a knee or something. So that can make things quite frustrating and quite hard to kind of like get on a bit of a roll. So yeah, I really wasn't sure how I was going to go, but I'm so glad that I did it.
I'm so glad too, because that's what's terrifying, right? It's the fear of failure that puts you off even starting, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And not just that, but you had to share it with the world, or you were brave enough to share it with the world.
Yeah, that's something that that was completely out of my comfort zone. My health I talk about my health a lot, particularly the endometriosis, because I think that that's something that just gets shoved aside as women's problems, whereas actually, it takes on average in New Zealand, 8 years to get diagnosed with endometriosis, and 1 in 10 women have it. And so the more we speak about it, the better. But I'm not so comfortable about talking about my weight and about that side of things.
I don't think anyone is, to be honest.
I set myself some ground rules. There'd be my numbers, like my weight would not be published, and there was no way in hell I was standing there in my underwear doing a before and after photo.
Oh my God, no.
that was not
I never
happening.
ask anyone to do that. I encourage people to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of questions and people go, why don't you do before and afters? And I'm like, it's a very personal journey, really, isn't it?
Really. And I knew that you were never going to ask that, but I was like, these are the things that I always see in these before and after articles, but I don't want to have that. And it wasn't just about my weight. It was also about getting some control of my out of control lifestyle and just feeling myself again. So the weight is an absolute bonus and it's been amazing, but my health journey with this has been life-changing. So
I'm quite excited because I've got some quotes for you. It's some of the stuff that made me the happiest. It's nothing to do with your weight whatsoever. But I'll get onto that quickly before we move on to the main course and read back some of your experiences. One of the things that did really stand out for me that's not weight related whatsoever, not weight related, not size related, not aesthetics, your chronic pain diminishing. So was that endometriosis related or a bit of everything?
A bit of everything. So what was happening is if I sat in the car for too long, I'd get out of the car and my joints, my ankles, my legs, my knees, my hips were just so sore. My back, it'd take a few minutes to get moving again because it was just painful. Getting up in the morning, same thing. So I felt like I was 80 when I'm in my 40s, early 40s.
It's no fun. I was about to say, share with everyone how old you are because you're definitely not even close.
So I'm 43. So, I've just started to admit to myself that I'm middle-aged. But I don't, just because I am doesn't mean I have to act it. And so I want to make the most of every opportunity. And if you're just too sore and just in pain all the time, that it just limits you so much.
It degrades your life. Hey, they're actually saying now that our life expectancy is actually diminishing because we're killing ourselves with food, which is quite terrifying. But our life expectancy might be 80 or 90 now for some people, but our our lifespan and our health span do not match up.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, there's so many of us who are 40s, 50s on like chronic pain medication, just suffering through.
Yeah. And
But
that's
so
something
that
I
changed.
noticed. Yeah, that changed. And I noticed that within days. So just a reduction in that. And then just as we go on, just less and less and less. The endometriosis, I don't have the same amount of pain with that, which has been amazing. Like my kids only know me as sick. So they're 16 and 19, and their major experience of mum for a number of years has just been, I can't move, I'm too sore, I can't do this today. And so it's been huge. Like I love to go to the gym, I love to go out walking, I love to go to the lake and stuff. And so to be able to do those things has been just amazing. So that's been the number one thing for me. Yeah. And like I don't have the same back pain, and I can just do so much more. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Do you know why?
Well, I feel like a lot of inflammation has gone down, because I also notice that when I don't, if I not cheat, but if I don't eat so well, I notice it sneak back in. And so I can actually
I remember you saying that.
feel it in my body. Yeah. And even like my gut health has improved because I had a few issues around that. And so, just seeing that change. There was one time, a couple of weeks in, it must have been about 4 weeks into the eating plan, and the senior citizens brought over some meringues
the meringues
for us. I was like,
so lovely. You being like, oh my God, I was like sabotaged by old ladies and meringues.
And like, they're made with love and they want to give them to us. I'm like, I love meringues. I've got a very sweet tooth, which is made, so not only did I was like, I can have one. This is a lifestyle change. It's fine. I had 3. And then within 20 minutes, I was on the ground in pain. I had doubled over. I was just, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay, cool. This is why I'm doing this, because the difference. So I would have that on a regular basis, and couldn't.
And you're probably just putting yourself through subtle pain you didn't realise. Do you reckon you've kind of become more mindful as part of it all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or like conscious.
I think I have like quite a high pain threshold because I've lived with it for so long in so many different ways, and then suddenly to be pain free and old ladies and meringues, it was not good, and it was not pretty. My workmates were quite amused, which I need to talk to them about that.
They were also amused. What did I call you out on? Because you said you didn't have time to like go out for a lunchtime walk.
About my exercise. Yes,
that's another thing that I'm. And it's not even. It's sort of exercise, but it's also. It's that change, like you say, when you've got a crazy job like you have, and so many women in particular tell me the same, they feel forced to stick at their desk. Like it's so frowned upon if they leave their desk.
Yeah.
And there's like actually taking the time to carve out 20 minutes or half an hour for yourself to go outside, get some sunshine, move your body, like get the blood flowing around you. Is so incredibly good for you, but it's so hard to do in some workplaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find for us, because we don't have set lunch breaks, because news happens when it happens, so we kind of have to be quite fluid. And I, am good with the team. Have you guys had a break today? Have you gone outside today? Get away from your desk, do all those things. So I don't do them myself. And so that's been a learning thing. Okay, great guys, right, get out. I'm going to do the same. So making sure that we're doing that, and not just like eating on the run. So I used to, off to a job, right, I'll just eat my lunch in the car if I had lunch, or I'll grab a pie, I'll grab a Coke on the run, and it's just what you do. So you're not stopping to eat and enjoy the food. And I love food a lot. That's how I got to where I am, as I love food. But I love the experience of sitting down and enjoying the food. And so just being more mindful about what I'm eating and how I'm eating has just been game-changing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And if it helps, I'm the same. I love food, and did not lead to good things at uni. And also, like you say, just eating on the run, and it's terrible. I do the same, like in between meetings, like eating in my car. I have to tell myself off all the time. Anyway, back to you. So we're going to dive into the main course. And I'm going to repeat some things that you told me in the initial consultation.
Oh, no.
No, don't worry, they're not embarrassing things. Although we did have some good chats. If anyone wants to listen, Shannon and I, there is a recording of a Shannon and I's first ever chat if you want to listen to that. So one of the first things that you mentioned, so meaty main course, this is going to be your experience, Shannon, through your words. The first thing you said about sharing your story, you were nervous about that. You were also quite nervous about what Ray was going to say. And I get this a lot. So it's actually quite intimidating what your partner's going to say. You're worried what he was going to say about the changing the meals and also the cost.
Yeah.
Which you actually then came out and you were like, actually, although it costs more up front for the food shop, you're actually not nipping out to, what did you say? I was not running out and grabbing food throughout the week. Plus, there was no more Coke and pies when I needed to grab a quick lunch on deadline day. And no more chocolate and licorice when I was stressed, which was most of the time. So I thought that was really interesting. So what were you nervous about Ray thinking, I guess?
Yeah, I was... so my husband's absolutely amazing, and he does all of the adulting for us because I don't have time. So if the family were waiting on me to cook dinner, when I got home, it would be like, 8 o'clock, that I would remember to cook the meat, and then halfway through I'd go, oh crap, I haven't done the veggies. And so we'd be having, like a stage of here's the meat and now here's the veggies. So they wouldn't get fed properly. So
like an Italian meal in Dego Station.
Pretty much. So Ray does all of that, so he cooks the meals and makes sure that does the grocery shop and all of that stuff, because like I can do my job well. I just can't adult and parent well, just purely down to time. And so he took care of all of that. So this was going to mean a shift for him as well. And he's very budget conscious. And, the shopping is the meals we eat are based on what's on special this week. And then we'll design our meals around that. So it was having to do, can you just hold 1 second? I've got room service here.
Yeah, of course.
1 second, sorry.
To give you guys a background, Shannon is currently travelling to Australia. So I'm guessing that was that someone trying to clean your room, Shannon?
Sorry, they just wanted to check the mini bar, and I'm like, we're not using that. We're good.
I can't. I'm keen to get on to travelling in a bit. Oh God, there's lots of questions about that. So you were just saying about Ray doing all the adulting for you, and I have to admit, as a working woman, that's the amount of times I'm still at the desk at 6:30, and I have a great balance. I try not to, but Scott comes up and he's like, "Oi," I'm like, "Ah," and it's this horrible balance that we've got at the moment. That I've actually got another quote from you on stopping to cook meals that I really enjoy. But so Ray, how did he cope?
Yeah, he was good. We sat down and we talked about it. I said, "Look, I'm doing this thing," and we've done different things over the years because the doctors have tried different things with me to help get my health and my pain under control, but they're quite complicated. So they put me on FODMAP, a low FODMAP diet once, So that's not just like, and there's not a lot of guidelines around that, or there are, and they're quite restrictive.
Like no garlic, onion, aubergine, tomatoes, really random stuff.
It was so complicated. You could have a banana, but it can't be ripe, and only 100. And if it can only be half a banana, it can't be over this many grams. And so like it's not simple eating. And so when you've got a family, it's just so hard to get your head around it and then to try and eat that way. So we had a good chat about it, and I just said, look, this is what I'm going to do, and we'll just make it work somehow. And so we've done that because I'm also living, I've just spent the last 3 months in Central Otago away from the family. That's been complicated as well because we've got 2 grocery shops. So just being mindful of the budget. But I have been having to go out, a pie and a Coke is $15. So if you're doing that once a day, plus getting other stuff and, licorice and chocolate and probably another Coke and then something else and then something else, that all adds up to way more than what I would have been paying for groceries. And so that has been, that was interesting for us to navigate, but it's been really good. And I'm about to go home, and so I'm looking forward to, we'll be able to do this as one. What does this look like for us now, all in the same household, eating this way? So, So,
have Ray or your kids changed anything about the way they eat? Not really. Well, you've been awake a lot, haven't you?
I mean, Asher, like 16-year-old boy, so he's like Weet-Bix at like 11 o'clock every night.
He just puts it away, and it's like,
he's a beanpole and just growing constantly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I think that it will come in time. Like Ray's seeing that my health has changed. He's seeing that my weight has changed, and so
he's supportive.
Yeah, he's really great. Like, and he doesn't always get it, but he gets it. It's helping me, and he sees that I have a better quality of life, which also is great for him as well, because we can go out and do stuff, and like his wife is just not sick on the couch all the time. So yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah.
I'd be like, keep eating what you want, honey.
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's working, just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So, we talked a lot about the pain and all the things you can do. Numbers wise, because I'm sure people are curious if they haven't read the article. When we wrote the article, you were 10 kilos and 31 centimeters down.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels amazing. Just amazing. And it's like that number that I got to is so to lose 10 kilos is amazing, but through that process I also got past the number that had been like a bit of a barrier for a long time. It's like, this is my first step in the goal of how much I wanted to lose, and to actually be under that was pretty much unbelievable, because I didn't in my head think I could get below that. I'd been above it for so long. So
sometimes it's a mental battle, isn't it?
And so that's been really amazing. It feels better. My clothes are fitting better. There's certain clothing that it's quite obvious that I've lost that weight. So
I saw you at the supermarket the other day, and I was like, Shannon, you need new jeans.
I know.
I mean, but like you said, what else did you say? I've got your words here. Your skin looks better.
Yeah, definitely.
And you haven't had a migraine in 2 months.
Yeah, and so we'll be going on like over 3 months now. No migraines. I'm sleeping better. So I used to wake at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. and then I just stay awake. I couldn't get back to sleep. So I sleep better through the night. All of those things. I have more energy.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So those have made, and I get a lot of comments about my skin looking really good, and stuff that's nice that people can notice as well. So yeah, I think that's helpful.
So many people have said that recently.
Yeah, it's been good.
Like a number of ladies. A lady who's like, gosh, she's a small lady, but like 58 kg. She said the same. Her skin's just changed.
Yeah,
there's like less of a weight thing, but it's so interesting.
Yeah.
The differences, and it's really good. I even noticed when I just went on holiday to Hawaii, and like literally, in order to eat enough protein in Hawaii/America, half of it was deep fried. Like, it wouldn't say on the menu, but like you'd literally order something and it would come out in a sugary sauce and deep fried, and you're like, cool, guess this is what I'm eating. It's so funny. And so, but I noticed like loads of spots around the side of my face, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. It's so fascinating. Yeah. Oh. So Shannon, next, I have more energy and I found myself really feeling more confident in trying new things that I would usually shy away from.
Yes.
Tell me about this kayak.
Dancing kayak. So my family's quite outdoorsy and stuff, and my dad, he's 70, and I would describe him as a mountain goat. Like we would go for walks. He's just retired, and what he does is he puts on his boots and he points to a hill and goes, I'm going to go up there today. And that's what retirement looks like for him. And out on the farm with my brother and all kinds of stuff. And but for probably as long as I can remember, my dad has melanoma, and so I never knew how bad melanoma was, because my experience of it across a number of members of my family is you just get it removed and you carry on. And even myself, I've had moles removed and stuff when I was a teenager. So that's been my experience, and never understood how serious it was. And for my dad, we've been really lucky it hasn't got into his bloodstream and stuff, but it is getting more severe. Like we can self-diagnose. He can look at it and go, I need to go get it removed. Then the skin specialist will be like, that's got to go. And so he's a member of Lions. So this is just a bit of background, so you've got some context. So he's a member of Lions, and they are doing this thing called Row for Life Aotearoa, where they've got a 4-person skiff, and they're going to row the east coast of New Zealand. So they're starting next month, and they're rowing 100k around Stewart Island. And then in February, they're going to row from Bluff. I think it's Bluff right through to Cape Reinga. So this massive row.
Wow.
And they want all the Lions clubs and stuff to get on board and support. With this row, they're fundraising for 4 charities. So Surf Lifesaving New Zealand, Child Cancer Society, Starship Hospital, and the Lions Cancer Trust, which is going to be funding 2 vans, one for the South Island, one for the North Island, to do free mobile skin checks. And so for my dad, he's quite passionate about that. And he's like, how can the inland clubs get involved? He's like, I know, I'll kayak the length of Lake Dunstan. So he spoke to them and he's like, we're going to do that Labour weekend because the boat is actually going to be in Cromwell. So let's do this. And I was like, hey, I'll do this with you. And he's like, great, it's in Labour weekend. I'm like, that's 3 weeks away. But okay, let's do it.
So brave, because I do crazy, stupid stuff all the time, and I'm not sure even I would commit to kayak the length of Lake Dunstan in 3 weeks.
So yeah, so for context, so like the kayaks that we have when I was a kid, so they're over 30 years old, and I don't quite fit in them the same. So normally when we go kayaking at Christmas, I paddleboard because I'm worried if I fall out of these things, I'm going to get stuck, because hips and all that jazz. But and I wasn't a bit worried about my fitness, but I was like, no, I think I can actually do this because I'm slightly crazy and unhinged at times. So we did this, and so the plan was we'd get in at Northburn and we would kayak with the rowers from Northburn to Clyde Dam. When we got there, it was really windy, and I was like, this is a dumb idea. Because for context, I hadn't been in a kayak for a number of years, apart from one trip last year or earlier this year to row across the lake with my camera to take a photo for work, which was terrifying because I was like, if I tip out, I am screwed.
I was screwed, yeah.
And so I was like, great, this is sure, but it'll be fine. And so my son and my nephew, who are both 16, they're doing it too. And I was really worried I would be left behind. They're all very, very fit, and I'm not as fit. But we went to Northburn. It's quite windy. I was like, we're going to die. I think it's swamped. So we decided it was probably a wee bit unsafe for us to get in at Northburn. So the rowboats did. The skiff got in at Northburn, and we met them at Alpha Street, and just beyond the bridge where it's sheltered and calm, and we'll do that. So it's still a distance of about 18k, and we kayaked it in 4 hours, which with a couple of stops, which I'm pretty stoked about. It was
that's incredible,
pretty amazing to do. A lot of pressure because that also was quite public, and I'm not sure what it is about suddenly doing public things because I'm normally not that person. But it was amazing, and just the sense of achievement I had. It's even made me go, oh, there's Spirited Woman happening in Cromwell. Maybe I should find a team. I'm starting to think about what I
You've
could
got a
do,
few months.
and if I have a goal or something, what can I look towards doing? I find that for me, if I've got a goal to work for, like a health goal or a weight loss goal isn't motivating for me because otherwise I'd be a size 8 by now, years ago, because I would have been able to stick to things.
You've got the work ethic and the dedication, haven't you?
Just
blimey.
Yeah. So I just
Shannon, it's really interesting that you bring that up. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
you're because right. It's understanding your why.
Yeah, hugely.
And what makes you tick. Like you say, like if you're like, oh, I want to be a size 8, I have to delve down with everyone. So I don't know if you remember, but right at the front of the program, there's mindset worksheets.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I want to be a size 8. Well, really, tell me why. And it's no one actually does. It's like the underlying confidence issues, or it's wanting to feel like you did before you had children, or it's wanting to be there for your kids and your grandkids, or be able to kayak with them. Yeah. That's what matters, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Those are the things that are important. Like at the end of the day, your weight is just a number, but I don't want to be remembered about what size I was, big or small. I want to be remembered for like what are the things that I did, and did I have a good life, and did I do the things I wanted to do? I don't want to look back on my life and go, man, I let that hold me back. And I think for a number of years I let my health and my weight hold me back from what it is that I want to do, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I want to do things regardless of what size I am, and as long as I'm fit and healthy and happy, then that's the main thing that should matter.
That's all that matters. Did I give you the will it matter at your funeral talk?
I don't know if we had that. It was probably just as well.
So it's what I run through. It's kind of a little bit of a framework when women go, oh, well, I can't leave the desk. Oh, it'll be frowned upon. She got a lovely lady who read your article and started my program on Wednesday. But she was like, I can't leave the desk. The bosses think it's strange if people go out for a lunch break. And what I have to say to a lot of people is turn around. Will they be talking about it at your funeral?
Yeah.
They'll remember how loving you were, what you did, your actions.
Yeah.
They will not remember. No one will be talking about how many hours you worked.
No.
You know what I mean? Or whether
Not
you
in a
left
good
at
way.
5:30 one day, God forbid, like leaving the office on time. Like, so I find that a really, really helpful lens, especially for us workaholics, to go, if you're like, I can't leave, and like, it's actually, you know, go home to dinner with your family or be stuck at the desk for an extra hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will it matter at your funeral?
And I'm starting to realize now, with my kids being like 19 and 16, my daughter's on her OE in the UK. My son has one more year left at home. And I'm like, this time is really important. It's really precious. And I need to make the most of that time. I don't want to spend like Ash's last year at home, me like not there and not present and not doing things. I want to make sure that we've got time to, you know, have family time to go and do the things that we want to do. Focus on what's actually important, not just like working all my life.
What we've been taught is important, because it sounds like you're the same as me. Like, we kind of got taught, I feel like, our generation, that, you know, you have to get married and have the kids, but you also have to have the super career and the this and the that and the work all hours, because it's cool to be busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to like unlearn it all, and that's actually like, so your next quote, Shannon, it wasn't a linear journey and there were plenty of ups and downs along the way. I think that's a really important point, because life is not a linear journey, like, and you're an incredible case because you are so busy. You're pulled in all directions.
Absolutely. And there were times that I could see that, like, if I do an 18-hour work day, which I don't recommend for anybody, you know, there's already some bad choices that have gone on in that. And so, you know, you're too tired to eat properly. I'm just going to grab something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm just going to, you know, like, and there were a couple of weeks where my weight went up rather than down, and I'd be like so frustrated with myself. But I'm like, it's okay, because this is not the end of it. You know, we eat how many meals a week? If a small percent of them, 5%,
21,
are not, you know, a few of them are not exactly clean. It's okay, because I still have to live life and enjoy it. If I want to have a glass of wine, or, you know, or a snack with my kids, it's okay. But let's not go, oh no, I've stuffed that up. Oh, the rest of the days are right off. The rest of the weeks are right off. No, just next meal. What are you doing for your next meal? Is that clean? What are you doing? So, and I think that's been really helpful. You've hit the nail on the head, Shannon.
Yeah. Like, so many people go, I've fallen off the wagon. That's it. And it's like, okay, no. That was like one meal, or it was one Saturday night. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, exactly.
And tell yourself that life is over, or that you're a huge failure. So I think, you're totally right. Like, just in the next meal. And it's what I think your biggest challenges, and everyone's really, is like, it's those work commitments, it's those social commitments, it's the old ladies in the meringues, right? So those situations where you're like, oh, it's socially awkward, it's made with love, or there's all sorts of tricky situations like that do come up in life, and you don't want to feel like you have to say no to things all the time. And I think a really good switch that I was talking to a lady about yesterday, she was going to see family in Dunedin. I was like, you just have to try and stay strong and, you know, say, oh, that's okay, I don't feel like that at the moment, or I wouldn't like any of that, thank you. Not, I'm on a diet. I can't have that, because as soon as you start to sound like you're imposing restrictions on yourself, it makes other people feel really uncomfortable. If someone they love is going through hardship or pain, it makes them go, no, screw it. You do what you want.
And it can be uncomfortable for them as well, because, oh, you're making this change, but I don't want them, I can't make that change, and so it's uncomfortable for them. So then they try, no, you can't, no, you shouldn't do that. That doesn't sound right, you know. So
that's not you.
Yeah, that's not you. That's So but I've found, like, I found it really easy at a restaurant to go, hey, I'll get the burger but with no bun, please, or can I just I'll have a kombucha or I'll have a sparkling water, or it's been really easy. And there are times I go, oh, you know what, I am going to have the toast, but it's going to be sourdough, and I'm having it with a lot of fat and a lot of protein, and I know what I've got coming up the rest of the day or the next few meals are going to be not that, and so I can make those adjustments. So it's been good. I feel like I've got control over what I eat and how I eat, which is something I haven't had for a long time. So
that's really good. And it's so often like the fact that we fly through life and we do tell ourselves these stories that we're too busy to focus on good food. We haven't got time. We haven't got time. We haven't got time to find the knowledge. We haven't, and like you say, you just it's feeling more in control, or like you've got some tools behind you that you know what to say yes and what to say no to, and how your body's going to react to it. So getting into the practical aspect, Shannon, I love this. So I'm sure people are wondering, so you use the weekly planner to do a shop on a Sunday or Monday and prep lunches and snacks for the week.
So that weekly shop was great. It really did help me. Okay, cool, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm eating. I would find that when I would prep those meals and prep that ahead of the week, and sometimes I'm just doing it day by day, but if I knew what I was having and when I had the stuff with me, then I was able to make those good choices rather than go, oh, I'll just sneak this or I'll sneak that. It was when I didn't plan and prep that I would set myself up for failure, because if I'm having to make decisions on the run, it's never going to go well. So I actually quite enjoyed it. I would find that coming home, I would leave the office because I have to go home and cook now. So I may not be coming home at 6, but I might be coming home at 8. I'm like, right, I'm going to cook my dinner now, and it would force me to have a break. And I'd be like, you know what, I don't have to keep working. I think I'll just follow it up tomorrow. And so it helped create some balance and create some rhythm. And I actually found I quite enjoyed cooking. My friends
this
and
is
family...
the quote I got from you. I found cooking meals really therapeutic. And created a necessary pause in my day. I would leave work at a reasonable hour for me and go home to cook dinner.
It was so amazing.
So good.
Because a lot of my friends will tell you, and my family will tell you, Shannon doesn't cook. And it's not that I can't cook, I just don't have time
I've got photographic
or space in my world. That's right. I mean, the kids would talk about like a mum meal, which would all be like beige, so it'd all be like one colour, or it would be in stages, as I said before. Funny. The meat, and then I literally the other day was Ray was away, and I was cooking dinner for me and Ash, and I was like, yes, I've got this under control. And then like the timer goes off for the meat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to cook the veggies. And so so I still do that.
Isn't that called time for the meat to rest?
That's exactly it. It was all planned. But so they'll tell you that I don't cook because I just haven't had space to do it, and if we relied on me, it wouldn't happen, or not happen well. But I really enjoy it, and I find it does create a pause, and I go, right, this is really good, and I'll make extra, and so like that's my lunch for the next day. And it's been really nice just to go, you know what, I know what I'm eating is good, tastes good, I know it's good for my body, and it just that pause to stop and take time out to do something for me, which I think a lot of us as women, we're not so good at doing. It feels quite selfish, but it's just been the most liberating thing. And and I really enjoy it. So I love doing a grocery shop to go, right, what is it that I'm going to eat? These are the meals I'm going to have. Okay, cool, now I'll get these things. And it's been really good.
What would you say to mums out there who are going, oh, I wish I could do that, but...
Oh, I mean, I completely get it. I completely get it. But you can do it. And it's so easy for us to prioritize everyone else. I've been married for 20 years. I've been doing community work and volunteering, a whole lot of stuff, and all of my life has been about other people, and it's felt so selfish to do something for me. But I'm a better person as a result of doing something for me. My kids benefit from it, my husband benefits from it, our family as a whole benefits from it. And so I would say it's not selfish, it's actually setting your family up for a win to do something for yourself. And it seems like it's hard, but once you get started and into a rhythm, like you won't want to go back. So I know that as I go back into this next season of being at home more and stuff, I'm going to be resting with Ray as to who's doing the shopping and who's in control of the meals, because these are what I want to, like I actually quite enjoy it now. So I would say give it a go, and and don't be afraid for it to work, because I think sometimes it's easy for us to decide it's too hard and it won't work, but actually I think it will.
This is, you've said so much good stuff there, Shannon, because I think, mums, it's like so, we look at that mum coming out of yoga at 10:30 a.m. in the morning and we're like, oh, look at her. Bet she doesn't work. Bet she married someone rich. We really just want to be her, and we're like, wow, look at someone taking time out of their day to look after themselves.
Yeah.
But society is like, no, we're rushing around because we have to.
But we learned during COVID and lockdowns, right? Like we always say, oh, if I had more time, I'd do this. But actually, how many of us during COVID made those changes and go, oh, I've got all this time at home, I'm just going to spend it doing yoga? No, I bet you we didn't. I bet you we did. Yeah. We filled that time with other things. And
everything but.
Yeah, so we can find all the excuses in the world. But that's all, and that's exactly what you said to me, that's all they are, is excuses. We need to learn to make ourselves a priority. And that was one of the harsh words that you gave me. They're so amused my workmates.
I know. It's making me giggle and cringe reflecting back, because I was like, I do having to remember being so harsh to you, because I can see it in you.
Yeah.
And I know, because I've also done it over the years, like you will give all of your energy to other people. Yeah. You will give it to your job. You will give it to whoever you feel needs it at the time. And then you get home and you're a sack of potatoes for your partner and yourself.
Yeah.
Or you go, I'll go to the gym at the end of the day, and you're so mentally exhausted by the end of the day, you're like, and you're in a bad mood because you haven't taken time out for yourself, so you feel resentful, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to come home and just pass out on the couch, and Ray would know that it couldn't wake me. It'd be a couple of hours, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, now I can function. And I don't have that the same, which is great. He's quite thankful for that too.
Need naps. I think he is. I feel like we need to get Ray on there next.
No.
Oh golly. So I've got, what was I going to say? So you've got, and what I love, Shannon, is from the get-go, despite my harsh words, which I think you've taken them all on board so bloody well, though. That's the thing. Like, it's so cool. And I think I've learned from my own mistakes, if that makes sense, of having to listen to those harsh words in like audiobooks or whatever I've been doing at the time. I know how powerful they are.
Yeah.
Which is why it's quite, and like I was gonna even ask you, like your migraines I think are totally food related. I just finished chatting to Alex Offen from Central Fitness. She went gluten-free a few years ago because she had headaches and migraines, and after reading a book I'm pretty sure I shoved in her face called Grain Brain, and how eating a lot of grains and inflammatory food causes and triggers things like migraines, and also dementia and Alzheimer's. There's lots more research in that now. But I wonder if it's actually that you maybe took a little bit more time out from work as well. Also,
I think definitely, there's been a whole lot of changes. I mean, I was very aware already of how different foods would impact me. But I think also, just that stress from work. I have an incredibly stressful job, which I love. Like, I love my job, which is why I do it. You wouldn't do it.
It's kind of good and bad otherwise. Stress, isn't it? Which makes it tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I think just being more mindful of taking a break from work and doing those things, incorporating like getting away from my desk and getting outside and walking and stuff each day, that's made a massive difference. So all of that stuff has helped. As well.
Before we move on to your game changers, and your takeaway dessert for people, your fitness as well. You shared something in our group chat on Instagram. So what does your tracker thing you say about your fitness?
Yeah, so my tracker told me that I was out for a walk one day and my health app just popped up with a notification saying that my recovery time had halved, and I could feel that when I went for a walk. I was like, oh, I have more energy. I'm doing this. I would walk the same place each time because I knew the timing of it for work to get away back home in time for work and stuff. And it just told me that my recovery time had like halved, and I was like, oh, I am noticing that I'm not like feeling as tired, or I'm not puffing as much and stuff. And that was literally within a matter of weeks. And I wasn't even walking every day at that stage. So, just noticing that difference was really cool, and just seeing how that has improved.
That's one of the key signs of how you measure fitness.
Yeah.
It's like, so like, is it the bleep test or I remember, I will never forget doing it at high school, and it was awful because I didn't think my fitness was very good at the time. You measure your heart rate straight after.
Yeah.
And then how long it takes to get down to resting.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best signs of your fitness.
Yeah.
So that halving is incredible.
Yeah, I was very stoked about that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I was so excited to see it at the time. In case people are wondering, like, how many times a week were you walking? Because what I'm conscious of is you weren't going to the gym. You weren't. I don't want people to think that you were absolutely, killing yourself during this program.
No. So my plan was to walk every day, but that just didn't work out. And I love walking, so even before doing this program, I would go through periods where I'd just be walking in the morning and stuff. But moving into the centre of Dunedin City, I live 2 blocks away from the Octagon. It's not very nice to go walking around the city.
No.
And so it's just so I haven't been, when I'm at home, I haven't been walking as much. So I was trying to do every day, and I would go for about, I think it's roughly like a 4K walk along the rail trail.
Yeah.
Nice. So I was doing maybe between some weeks it would be once, some weeks it would be like every day, some weeks it would be 3 times. It would just depend on what was happening and stuff. And I knew that if I did my walk in the morning, it was way better than if I left it to the evening, because I just wouldn't happen. But if I was working in Wanaka, so I'd have to leave early to go to Wanaka, what I would do is take my gear with me, and I'd go for a walk in Wanaka after work before I drove back to Clyde. And so so it was not always consistent, but probably a couple times a week safely, I'd say I'd be walking. But it was also finding I was making more decisions. Right, I'm going to walk up the stairs to my building rather than take the elevator. And so all those little wee things were also happening and stuff as well, which was great. So
that's so good. And that's there's another book I've been listening to called The Comfort Crisis. Totally fascinating. This guy's looking into all these modern things and how they make us feel. Like you say, when you're stuck in the car and you don't move 2 or 3 hours, you got all stiff, which is better now that you're not eating as much inflammatory food. But we weren't designed to sit still in a chair for like 2 or 3 hours. Even I find recording a podcast uncomfortable. I'm like, when do I get to stretch and go outside, or like go for a walk, or be in the daylight, But it's really interesting that, like he was saying, the stairs versus elevator. I asked Alex this on this podcast about an hour ago, and I'm so excited to see what answer you come up with. So knowing that it's better for you, what percentage of people do you reckon, given the choice of an escalator or stairs, take the stairs?
Oh, I reckon more people are going to take the escalator because it's just easier. And I'll be carrying bags, or I've got this, or it'll be more people will take the escalator, hands down.
What percentage?
Oh, like I reckon probably 95% of people will take the escalator over the stairs.
You were much closer than Alex. 98% of people.
Oh my gosh.
So by you switching from the elevator to the stairs, you're in the top 2%.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
It's good, eh?
That is crazy.
But it's mental. And we can burn about 10 to 15% of our calories through exercise, like you said, like going for a walk, like dedicated exercise. Or going to the gym, which is what a lot of people struggle to do, right? Like mentally, designate time to do exercise. But our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, it's called, so just moving more, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, that can account for up to 30%.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth doing. Or like, also really converse to what everyone wants to do because it's easier, but parking the furthest away in the car park from the supermarket.
Yep.
Yeah. The
all those
little
little
tricks
things.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how they add up is amazing.
Yeah. Well, what I've found that when I do is on a when I'm in Dunedin, I will walk to church on a Sunday morning. So I know that's a 20-minute walk, and I'll walk back. So I walk to church. My son will come with me. We'll grab I'll grab him a hot chocolate, and I'll grab a cup of tea, and then we'll carry on their walk. And then I will walk home. So I know that just through that simple act, and it's through the city, but I don't seem to mind it because it's going somewhere, not like walking for exercise. And so that incidental thing is just, that's an extra 40 minutes walking.
Yeah.
That I could just quite easily jump in the car, but I don't want to, and I quite enjoy the time as well. So yeah,
it's also because it's on a Sunday. You also probably mentally giving yourself permission to spend the time.
Yeah.
Rather than during the week, it can sometimes feel like the pull of our desk is like a bit too much. Yeah, it's not good. Right, so Shannon, onto your game changers for our takeaway dessert this week. Shannon included some game changers, little tidbits of advice for people, which I think will hopefully be really relatable coming from such a busy lady, mum, workaholic as yourself that's made such incredible, I should say recovering workaholic maybe?
Yes, in progress,
in progress, work in progress, I think we all are. So Shannon's game changers for creating healthy change. Start small. You don't have to make all the changes at once. Pick one and start from there.
Yeah, pick one thing. If it's like, hey, I want to incorporate walking, or I want to incorporate meal prep, just pick one of them. You don't have, I am so guilty of like, right, I'm gonna do everything. I remember as a teenager, I'm gonna change my life, so I'd like rearrange my entire bedroom. And my daughter does the same thing. So then you like remove everything, you're like, oh crap, now I've got to put it back together, and it's just, I don't want to do this, and it's too hard. So I think pick one thing, and then you can just get that under your belt, make, okay, walking's a habit for me now, right? I'm doing this, or my meal prep's a habit, so do that, and then that will then it's easier to incorporate the next step, rather than trying to do everything at once and just going, oh, it's too hard, I quit. Oh, are you there? We may have lost each other. Oh, can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, can you hear me? I can
cut
see
out for
you.
A wee bit.
Oh, I knew. I could see. I was like, I can kind of hear something, but how much of that did you hear?
I don't know, but like as soon as I finished the question, it cut out. So
okay,
we'll
great.
start again from here, and I'll just clip it.
Yeah, cool. So so start small. So I remember as a teenager, I want to change my life, so I'd start by changing my bedroom, and you'd like throw everything into chaos and move it all around, and then you get halfway through, and you're like, oh crap, I'm done, I'm too tired, I don't want to do this anymore, and you're just left with this big mess. And so I think it's a bit like this.
I used to do exactly the same.
My daughter does the same thing. I'm like, this is a thing. I think it's really important. Pick one thing, whether it's I'm going to walk every day, or I'm going to start drinking water, or I'm going to do my meal prep, and start incorporating that. Pick one thing, get it into like just part of what you do, make it a habit, and then that will. I just got dripped on from the ceiling. And then I don't know what that is. It must be the aircon. And then make it a habit, and then it's easier to incorporate everything rather than trying to start everything at once and failing spectacularly and going, oh, that's it, I'm done, I'm tapping out, it's too hard. Yeah, so start small and then incorporate. Yeah, pick one thing that you go, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve. Make it a part of who you are and what you do, and then go from there.
Evolution, not revolution.
Yeah, that's
I reckon.
Right.
Yeah, it's really important. Okay, and you touched on something really cool there, like kind of incorporating it into your identity as you go, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just
making sure you enjoy it as well. Yeah, it's just what I do now.
Yeah, this is what I do. I go for walks. I like walking, so this is what I do. Yeah. Make it a priority, something that you value, and then it's easier to prioritize that over other things.
And what you value, understanding your why and why you're doing it, really important part of that. And I think all the habits as well, like, well, this next one is probably one of your key habits, which I love. But what it's all about as well is making it easier for yourself. So like you say, if you too much too soon,
Yeah.
you go, this is too hard, I can't do it. You tell yourself you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of your key habits, which I love, it's adjusting your environment to make it easier for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So meal prep.
Yeah.
You say plan and prep your meals, particularly for during the day when at work. You can guarantee the days I did not prep food were the times I was more likely to fall off the wagon and make bad choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have some go-tos in mind for when you get caught out. So if you have to grab something on the run, you know what the good options are.
Yeah. Yeah, that was massive for me. So doing that prep in that shop on a Sunday or a Monday, and just having the stuff ready. I didn't even have to like make everything, but at least I had it there. There'd be times I'd get up in the morning, right, this is what I've got for lunch, right, I'm going to cook that now and then take it with me. Or I've got this for dinner, I'm going to take half of that for my lunch tomorrow. And then just having snacks and stuff prepared made such a difference. But then also knowing, I've been caught out, what can I grab? And so running to you in the supermarket at that time, you're like, just grab deli meat. I'm like, perfect. I know that I can go to the supermarket, grab some deli meat. Yeah. Like, I feel good. I started making crackers out of keto wraps. And so we're back.
Hello.
Sorry.
Cut out again.
It's all good.
So we're talking about go-tos in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Right.
So knowing what I can grab has just been like so helpful, because I'm not having to go wander around or what do I grab. The other thing I did is I started making crackers and chips out of keto wraps. So I just buy keto wraps and bake them in the oven for a couple of minutes with a bit of olive oil and sea salt on them, and I would have them cut them into crackers and have them with cottage cheese. And so that was a great thing to have. I could just have that at work. That could be my lunch if I needed it to be, or if we're having snacks as a family, like the family would have chips and dip, I'll have the crackers and cottage cheese. And I genuinely love it. Like, it tastes delicious. And so I'd quite happily choose that over the other stuff. So yeah, that's been so helpful as well.
So good having like options that are nourishing and that you don't feel like you're getting FOMO. I think a lot of people also are like, I'll just eat the, dry crackers that aren't yummy, or I'll just eat lettuce. And it's like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, no, that doesn't appeal at all.
No. Right, so I'm going to crack on to the next, because I feel like your internet doesn't like us.
I think it could be the way.
Question before it cuts out again. So track your meals. So you said keeping track of what you eat keeps you accountable. Yeah. I'd photograph my meals and send a pic to Amy. She was able to give me feedback if needed. Too many carbs creeping back in, etc. Yeah. And I think that's so important, because a lot of people, like, I don't suggest using MyFitnessPal, like a tracking app. Yeah. I just think it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But I think
I found just
doing something to take.
Yeah, keeping track of what I was eating was so important, because it is easy for things to kind of sneak back in. But also it gave me ideas for like, what am I going to eat tonight? I'll just scroll back through my photos. Oh, actually, that was really good. Let's have that. So, so I was following a plan, but there are other times where I'm off. Well, finished the plan now, but I'm still using it. I'm still using the meals. I'm still eating the same way, because I wanted it to be a lifestyle change, not just a 3-month diet and then revert back to where I was. So just being mindful about what I'm eating and what I'm putting into my body was really, really good.
And I don't reckon you want to go back, would you?
No, not at all. No.
You're not allowed. It sounds too good, all the changes you've experienced. And this is a point we've covered off already, but one that I think is really important. Get back on track. It's okay to slip up. Yeah. You don't write off the rest of the day, week, month, year, or life. One meal or snack outside of the plan is not the end of the world. Just get back on track with the next one.
Yeah, and I think it's a lifestyle, not a diet. It's not about being restrictive. It's about enjoying things. So we were over here in Australia for a couple of weeks working, and our son is back in New Zealand. So we, aside from being terrible parents, before we left, what we did, like we had the evening with him before we left. We're like, what do you want to do? He's like, I want some snacks and some dessert. So we're like, you know what, we're going to do this. So we got some snacks, we got some dessert, what he wanted to have, and I'm like, I'm happy to have this, because this is about not just about the food, it's about spending time with him and having some quality time with
Yeah.
him. So I know it's okay just to do this for a night. This is not how I'm going to be eating the rest of the time. And so it's okay. I mean, I paid for it. My body did not like it, you know, but the reaction was pretty much instant. But that's okay because this is a lifestyle, and so we have to
did it
take that time
mindfully,
to enjoy
right?
ourselves. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I was the same. Actually, Alex and I were both at a wedding together a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, you know, after about 5 glasses of wine, went to the bride, "Is that cake gluten-free?" And I was like, "Alex, just eat the bloody cake. just enjoy it." Like she's not celiac, so I wouldn't make her do it. But say she's very similar to you and I, like, and I'm the same. Like, I know cake doesn't make me feel good. Like, makes me bloated, not feel great, and makes the skin not ideal. It's like, eat the bloody wedding cake, right?
Yeah.
Life's also too short. Like, life's not too short to eat ice cream on the sofa with Netflix every night. That's a recipe for a shorter life.
That's right. Yeah.
Eating things like wedding cake or enjoying a really good night with the family. Before you go away, stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Your last point, Shannon. Do you remember what it was?
Oh gosh, no, I don't know if I can now.
I'll read it to you and get you started. Get your head in the game.
Oh yeah.
So much of making a change is in your mind.
Yeah.
The hardest part of going to the gym is the mental gymnastics of getting out of bed to go. I always say the heaviest weight you'll lift at the gym is the front door.
Yeah.
It's my favourite saying.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts and read books that are going to encourage, challenge, and inspire you. I also love that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think, because for me, there were certain numbers of like, I haven't been able to pass this for a long time. And so to be in that place where I'm like, I've passed this number, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that was possible. And so I think so much of this is actually in our mind. Because we tell ourselves we can't do it or it's too hard. And once you start telling yourself, then that's what you experience. And I'm a really big believer that our words have power. And so if we want to see something, we need to speak it out. That's what we're going to see. So, but we'll do that with like our job and our house and stuff, but we don't do it with our health. And so I think if we believe, like, we need to get our head in the game because, I remember, getting up for a gym class. I'm like, I don't want to go. It's too hard. But then once you go, like, oh, I love this. There are times like, I don't want to go for a walk, but I know that I'll do better. And so I just like, don't think about it. Just get up, put your gear on and get out that door. And once you're out there, you're like, oh, so good. And so, we can talk ourselves out of things. So it's really important to make sure that we get our head in that space. And so I found I would actually listen to your podcast. I don't have time to read books. I don't remember when I last read a book. And I haven't been listening to podcasts.
I'm the same. Audio books only for about 4 years. Or podcasts.
And I hadn't even been listening to podcasts. I was always just a music person. But I found going out and I'd listen to the podcast and I just found it so helpful and so inspiring and encouraging and challenging, all of the things. And that was really helpful for me. And so I still do that. So when I go out for a walk now, I listen to a podcast. And and I've just found that, just really helpful, really encouraging. Because you do just get this feeling of, I can do that. If they can do this, you're adding cottage cheese to every meal. I love cottage cheese. Let's do that. So like, so it's I think so much of it is we tell ourselves we can't do it, and then once you're in that space of I can't do it, then that's what it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? That's what you're going to walk into. So if you say you can do it, and then just that feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Because I would know there are certain points I would get to every time in my journey and I would self-sabotage. And that was one of my big things is like, I'm going to screw myself up here. And it's in a very
Shannon,
public way. Yeah.
Can I pause you there? And do you know why? Did we talk about this?
I don't know if we did.
You kind of, so if there's a certain number, for example, in your head, and you're like, I can't get past this number, so you've already got a mental challenge in your head around it. There's also a thing called the upper limit problem. So there's a certain level of health, happiness, wealth, where we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
if we start to feel suddenly really good, suddenly really healthy, and then, or we suddenly come into a lot of money, you see it with lottery winners.
Oh, there goes the internet again.
Or something else really, really good starts to happen, or we lose all this weight.
Yeah.
Or like you say, you get to a certain point and you just mentally can't go any further.
Yeah.
That's what a chap called Gay Hendricks calls the upper limit problem.
Yeah.
And I think
Makes so
you've
much sense.
surpassed it leaps and bounds, which is pretty exciting. Shannon, I think your internet's cut off again.
I
so
know.
for anyone listening, I am going to hope that she comes back on, but also say thank you to Shannon for coming on. We might have to give in to this Australian internet and its issues. And leave it at that, at just over an hour. So thank you guys for listening. I will get Shannon's final thoughts for you and add them to the show notes. Chat soon.